Hello everyone, Dragothien here. Welcome back to another Rise of Kingdoms video. Today we are going to be talking about civilizations in Rise of Kingdoms and which one you should be depending on which role you are in this game. This is applicable to if you are a brand new player all the way up until if you are a veteran player present today that started 3.5 years ago and you know what you're doing and you're just watching this video to get a chuckle because you want to see what's going on and if anything actually has changed. Well, I'm here to tell you that maybe it is going to change. Let's jump into it and let's go ahead and see what's going on with these civilizations. We have 12 to go through, and really it's kind of been narrowed down quite a bit based off of the play experience that we've got in the game and what the different roles are. So let's go ahead and jump in. Let's see what's going on. All right, welcome back. So what we're going to be doing is, again, we're going to be breaking this down by role. And usually the roles that I do are open field, rally, and garrison. I'm going to add a fourth one on this one, and that's going to be growth mode. So you've gone into a KVK, you've given your all, right? You gave everything. You gave all your troops, you gave all your resources. Man, I've got to get more stuff back so that I can go ahead and recover from that hellish KVK. I'm not a heavy spender, so I need to know which civilization to be or which civilization I should be inside of that role. And that's like the growth mode, kind of a growth mode where I need to recover. I might have to take a KVK off, or I might have to be a little bit more frugal next KVK to continue to grow and things like that. So first off, we're going to start off with open field. Now, open field is obviously very, very generic because you can have a very focused group based on skill damage, based on infantry, cav, archers. Some of you might be out there also rocking a leadership group. I don't know. Buff, debuff. I mean, there's so many different things inside of the open field, but there are some very particular civilizations that you want to pay attention to when you're in the open field to get the best out of your groups, out of your marches, so that you can get the maximum damage going out while also being very tanky or while being speedy, etc. So let's go ahead and jump into open field. We're going to start with Ottoman. So Ottoman is, in my opinion, the #1 civilization to be as an open field fighter. Now, this is for players who are not hurting on speed ups. Now, what I mean by that is, if you spend into the game a little bit, or if you're a hoarder and you have been saving speed ups nonstop and you don't have to necessarily use them for growing your tech, growing your buildings, making more troops, things like that, and you've been stockpiling them, you can get away with being Ottoman. This is going to give you the best battlefield experience because it gives you very, very key pieces on the field. One is a troop march speed bonus of 5%. That's not something you can really get anywhere else outside of runes. VIP does have that as well, but you have to spend to get into that. You see what I'm getting at? The other piece is an active skill damage bonus, meaning the primary skill damage from an active skill damage commander, like say Nebuchadnezzar or Guan or XY. So I try to give you all a commander from all three different trees there. They will take advantage of this. They will get a 5% skill damage bonus. And when you're talking about being open field and you're talking about being in KVK, where you can have anywhere between 310 all the way up to 450,000 troops, those numbers can be pretty substantial in the 10 to 20,000 range. And 5% of that is no joke. That's actually some pretty significant damage. And you combine that again with the fact that you're getting a 5% movement speed for the open field, which in open field, in my opinion, movement speed is king, next to being, procced out legendary equipment. Obviously, Windswept is not better than a proc legendary set, but you get what I'm saying. This is very, very strong. So the combination of those two things make Ottoman the #1 choice from a battlefield standpoint for any type of open field player, whether you're cav, infantry, archer, doesn't matter. This is the best when it comes to actual just damage. Like, you're doing the most damage, you're battling the best. Now, if you're a free-to-play player or a low-spending player, or you just don't have a whole lot of healing and or universal speed-ups, I recommend going France. And the reason being, you do get a nice universal health bonus, which health is one of the best stats to add in the game. So you get that across all 3 different troop types. You do also get a little wood gathering bonus, which is not that big of a deal, but you get a hospital healing speed increase of 20%. That basically saves you 20% of the time that you would normally have to use as speed ups in Rise of Kingdoms. So in this case, if you're in KBK, you're low on universal speed ups, you're low on healing speed ups. France, in my opinion, may be your best bet. Ottoman doesn't really do anything for you if you're out of healing speed ups and you can't fight in the first place. France can extend your fight because you'll be going through your healing speed ups and your universal speed ups a lot slower, because you'll be able to heal faster and not have to spend so much healing speed ups and universal speed ups on actually healing in the game, especially considering they nerfed healing and you don't get those free 30 heals anymore. We used to be able to have that back in the day, 30 helps at a time every single time, and eventually not have to use any speed ups. That's gone. They've gotten rid of that, unfortunately. So this is, to me, a good solid option for a player who doesn't have a whole lot of speed ups in the game. France is probably your best bet. Some other honorable mentions: I do like Vikings, especially if you're heavy infantry focus. You got Guan, you got Alex, you got Harold, you got Pakal, you've got Charles out there with YSG, you've got Sun Tzu out there. You can definitely make a nice full infantry group. I've done it before we even had the Vikings out, and it worked really well. You can make a really solid debuff group using Barca as a secondary to an infantry commander, and do very, very well. Vikings is very nice. The reason I like Vikings is because they have 2 attack bonuses. You've got an infantry attack bonus of 5% and a counterattack damage bonus of 3%. That's basically a double war buff, which is very, very strong. So honorable mention for open field goes to Vikings, and you do get a troop load bonus if you're trying to loot some cities of 10% as well. Not too shabby. All right, so those are really my top 3 picks for open field. Let's jump in to rallying. All right, so rallying, you might be surprised by this. So rallying, again, in my opinion, really should be focused on the people who are top tier equipped, meaning especially if you're in a bigger kingdom. If you're in a smaller kingdom, you may be able to get away with not having the maximum tech, the maximum equipment, the maximum commanders, etc., right? But for most of the bigger stuff out there, right, I recommend, if you are going to be a rally leader, that you focus on that leader for the equipment, for the tech, for the crystal tech, all that stuff, for everything, okay? Because what you're doing is you are putting other people's troops in your hands. You're basically saying, hey, give me your troops so I can go kill something. If you're going to do that, you should be doing the best you can, not only to do as much damage as you can, but also to reduce the damage you're going to take, which in turn will reduce the damage that they take in the form of dead troops if you're rallying a flag, a pass, a city, etc. Okay, so in my opinion, what you should be doing as a rally commander is trying to get the most out of your damage, trying to get the most out of your stats. In my opinion, the best rallying civilization is Arabia. Now, I think this is kind of, a lot of people used to know this a long time ago, and I think as the game has evolved, people have really started saying, hey, Ottoman's the best for everything. And there is some value to that, right? So you have an active skill damage bonus of 5%. That's really strong, especially considering from a rally standpoint, those numbers can be 100k plus. So that's 5,000 extra skill damage that you're causing on an XY primary or something like that, right? That's big numbers, right? But with Arabia, it's a 5% all damage dealt by rallied armies, 5%. That includes, and this has been tested, this includes skill damage and normal attack damage. This is far more damage dealing as a rally than Ottoman. Now, Ottoman is the best jack of all trades. You can be a solid rallier and be the best open field with Ottoman. But if you want the maximum, like if you're just going to be a rally guy, like you're the guy, right? You've got the best equipment, you've got the best whatever, you're the best that's available out there for your team, your alliance, your kingdom, whatever. You should be Arabia from a rallying standpoint, because you will get the most beneficial bonuses for your role, which is again causing maximum amount of damage, and in turn, either through causing more damage, you'll reduce the damage coming into you, or again just reducing damage in general. So with this, again, you have a damage dealt to barbarian and neutral unit bonus. That's not that big of a deal. You do get a cav attack bonus, so if you are rallying with XY Chandra or Attila Takeda, you will not only get the 5% damage bonus to the white and red numbers, but you'll also get a 5% attack bonus on top of that. So if you're one of those ralliers, Arabia is even more of a nice pick. But this is definitely the rallying civilization out there that you should be if you are a main rallier in a KVK. Again, Ottoman will do. You get half basically of the damage bonus that you get from Arabia in the form of the skill damage increase. And if you're an archer rallier with Gilgamesh Nebu, Ramses YSG, Ramses Nebu, etc., this will also help you with the archer health bonus of 5%. That's very nice. And again, this is a very universal, and you'll see this throughout the video, a very universal civilization, because this is, again, the best open field one in my opinion, which is mainly what most people are doing in KBK. It's open field fighting. You'll be doing, obviously, rallies, you'll be doing garrisons, but there's not everybody doing that. There's really only a few people that are doing that. Most people are filling those rallies and those garrisons. They're not necessarily leading them, and mostly they're open field fighting on the back end of that, and that's where Ottoman really shines, and that's why Ottoman was the #1 on the open field. But in my opinion, Arabia is #1. Ottoman would be #2. In my opinion, they would be doing very well in that role. And I think that's really it. I mean, you can, again, kind of squeeze Vikings in here, especially if you are a Pakal Herald rally. This is really where Vikings would make sense. But again, I would still go for Arabia, even as a Pakal Herald, because of the extra 5% normal and counterattack, and that's your white numbers, and skill damage bonus that you get. 5% bonus to all those. Those are post damage numbers. Same thing for Ottoman. Those are post damage numbers, meaning the number posts that's generated from your stats of attack, defense, and health, right? That generates the normal and counterattack damage number and the skill damage number when it's combined against the skill damage factor that's on your active skill, or in cases like Alex, where you have a passive skill that's a proccable skill that's not active, it's secondary. Same premise. Okay, so that's why, again, Arabia #1, Ottoman #2 in my opinion. And then if you are a Pakal Herald rally, you can get away with being Viking as well, because you get not only the 5% attack bonus, but also a counterattack damage bonus. And if somebody swarms your Pakal Herald, you're going to be very happy if you're a Viking. Not too bad at all. So that's it for rallying. All right, let's talk garrison. So garrison, obviously there's three main garrisons out there right now. You've got Zeno YSS, you've got Jadwiga YSS, and you've got a mandatory Artemisia, and again, to some extent, a mandatory YSS, etc. But really, a mandatory Artemisia is the meta when it comes to archers. So when it comes to garrisoning, you do want to still keep with Ottoman. You're going to be getting the 5% skill damage bonus. All three of those commander pairings have heavy skill damage inside of their pairing formula, their organization. So this will definitely help. You don't get any help from the troop march speed, but you do get, if you are a mandatory Artemisia, some big help from the archer health bonus of 5%. That's very, very strong, especially for a mandatory and Artemisia. I actually do also, again, like Vikings, especially if you're doing Zeno with YSS, you have a 5% infantry attack bonus and a 3% counterattack damage bonus that does stack with other things like the Vengeance, things like that. You do have this, and then obviously if you have a support skill in Heroic Anthem, like say Charles's 4th skill that gives you 30% counterattack damage bonus, that stacks with this as well. And if you get swarmed inside of a flag, inside of a fort, this will definitely be nice. You'll get the attack bonus and the counterattack damage bonus, which is very, very strong. And that's really the two civilizations that I would choose for garrisoning in Rise of Kingdoms. Ottoman being definitely #1, hands down. It's more universal. That 5% skill damage bonus is incredible, especially considering the 3 pairings that we just talked about. And then Vikings is still very good. There's no skill damage bonus, so your damage outgoing is not going to be quite as nice, but you are going to get the benefit of that double war bonus, especially if you're Zeno primary, and really being very infantry focused. This will definitely help when it comes to the attack bonus, and then the counterattack damage bonus is raw. It's available for all the different troop types. All right, let's talk about growth mode. So again, what's growth mode? Growth mode, if you're a normal player in Rise of Kingdoms, you're not spending a whole lot of money, or you're not spending any money at all, or you're spending enough to, try and hide it from the wife kind of thing. You're spending or not spending, doesn't matter. You can have a really hard KVK. There's KVKs now, and now we have the World of the Alliances KBK system where you're doing alliance-based stuff. It could get even more crazy. I'm really kind of foreseeing very crazy KBKs coming up because of the way the alliance system is looking like it's kind of playing out. You may need to take a little bit of a break. You may need to take a little bit of a growth period, especially if your alliance or kingdom or both are able to stretch out their downtime or their growth time between KBKs. You may want to take advantage of that and get the best out of it. That means you want to maximize your ability to generate resources. You want to maximize your ability to train new troops. You want to maximize your ability to produce more resources, things like that. So something to think about here when we're talking about a civilization to be that you may want to be during a growth period. I think one of them that jumps out right away is Germany, because not only is there a 10% action point recovery, which is, especially if you're an active player that's killing barbs, doing forts. Forts are critical, absolutely critical, to recover from KBK to KBK, because that is how you're going to generate your action point potions to get the crystal tech that you need every single KBK. If your alliance is not pumping out dozens and dozens and dozens of forts every single day, you're not going to have enough action point potions to do what needs to be done. So do yourself a favor and be Germany. Get your 10% action point recovery. Have one of your farm accounts be your joining bot for doing a fort every day, and you'll be doing forts nonstop every day with those 2 accounts. And if you can get everybody else to do that too inside of your alliance, that stacks up to be hundreds of forts per day, and that's where you get all those 50 action point potions from. And then of course, the main thing from being Germany is a 5% training speed increase, which on the surface doesn't sound like it's very much, but when you're training a big chunk of troops back, this is a lot. This is a lot of time that you're going to be getting back when it comes to saving speed ups for training troops. So Germany, a double bonus there for action point recovery, getting more action points back inside of potion form so that you can use them in the next KBK, and then obviously training troops back. Very, very strong for Germany. I could say Britain, but again, Germany gives you what Britain gives you from a growth standpoint with the 5% troop speed bonus or troop training bonus. So Germany is basically Britain, but better. Let's go over to the next one with Japan being a 5% resource gathering speed bonus. Again, doesn't sound like a whole lot, but it can stack up over the course of 2 months being off of a KBK. That can definitely stack up if you're gathering farms every single day, spending that time sending out marches to gather resources out in the field. This is very strong. And then of course, when it comes to just raw increase in your production, you also have Spain, which is resource production increased by 20%, which is your farms inside your city, which does stack up quite nicely, especially if you can get a nice little resource production rune from the temple if it happens to drop. And then also, if you still have some growth to do on your commanders, experience gained from barbarians and other neutral units increased by 10% from Spain as well. So a nice little growth civilization, the way to go in my opinion. So that's definitely a nice little secondary or third there, depending on how you end up gathering resources to recover from KVK. Are you more passive and you're kind of getting the resource production from your own city, which you're not going to get enough just from that, but this helps. And then you also need a little bit of extra help with your commanders from a level standpoint, or you want just the raw speed of getting a 5% increase gathering speed from Japan. That's the difference between Japan and Spain, basically, is do you need the extra XP for your commanders or do you not? That's really where it boils down to. But those are the three, in my opinion, the three growth civilizations in Rise of Kingdoms. Unless you don't have max buildings, max research, you can go China, and to me, China is actually the best starting civilization because you get a nice little defense bonus for all of your troops, you get a 5% action point recovery bonus, and you get a 5% building speed bonus, which again, at the very beginning of the game, very, very strong. China, and also you get that good old Sun Tzu right off the bat as well, and you can get a max Sun Tzu a lot quicker if you have China being your starting civilization because your quest line has Sun Tzu as the reward, so pretty sweet. But that's not really growth so much, that's just, well, I guess it is kind of growth, just not between KVKs, so kind of take that for what it is. So that's the full rundown. I hope it's been helpful for you guys. I know that there's a lot of new players coming into the game. I wanted to make sure you guys had what you needed depending on which role that you are wanting to be in this game. If you don't know what that is, or you're trying to figure that out, link above for some of my role videos on what you can do in Rise of Kingdoms and how you can specialize and focus on those roles using that kind of preset to focus on your commanders in a particular way and focus on the way that you build your account, equipment wise, commander wise, etc. So hope you guys have enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys next time. Cheers, have a good one, and take care.